Welcome, guys. Welcome, guys. It's a massive day. A massive day. It's basically the SpaceX day, the IPO. So it's now publicly available for you guys to buy it. So this video is mainly about, well, this live stream is about SpaceX, right? I just went live a few seconds ago on YouTube as well, just to engage when with everybody and the fam that what I was doing and what SpaceX is. So if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I'm Jeremy Waller. I'm just another guy with a hat talking about stocks. Today especially is about SpaceX. SpaceX, bro, massive, massive. So what I've done is basically for anyone who's new to the market, this is a great time to actually start looking at the market and not just at SpaceX, but if you've never made the decision to join your investment journey, now is a great time, especially with the SpaceX noise. I just feel the sector, the investment sector, has become more interesting with what Elon's brought to the investment sector. Um, but yeah, it's definitely a great time because the IPOs that are coming out now, besides SpaceX, is Anthropic, which is Claude and etc. OpenAI, ChatGPT, etc. And there's one more which I forget. There's one more. Let me tell you who's that other one. Give me a second. I should know this, but it is. So it's obviously SpaceX, but there's another one which is coming. Anyway, when I remember, I'll put it in the chat. But yeah, what I've done right now is that, as you guys know, this part of my channel, this segment is basically talking to any new beginners who are coming into the investment market, opening a new portfolio, signing up with brokerages, whether it's Fidelity or my links are below for Robinhood, Moomoo, whatever you want to use. I'm no affiliate with these companies, but yeah, if you want to use them, this is what it is. I show the public portfolio on Robinhood. So if you guys want to know what I've done now, basically getting back on track, is that I've literally made this little presentation for you guys on SpaceX, and just because it's publicly available right now at a price point of, I think it's 170 the last time I checked. Give me a second, I'll tell you guys right now. I have it open. Well, it's literally behind me. So it's $169 on the TV behind me, available for. So yeah, so let's get into it. Welcome. So SpaceX, the next big thing is now. Great. So I basically did this with Gemini. I put in a few factors in to run this, and then I use Canva. So my plugin, my agent Canva and Gemini, they work together. And then I said, look, this is how I want to show it to my YouTube people. So let's go. So day one, reality. So currently, it's obviously when I ran the presentation, it's 175. Right now, it's at 169.73, but it's between 28 to 30% up since it went public. I think it went public about what 11 a.m. Eastern time. So 2.3 trillion market cap already. Like I said, 30% of it is retail allocation. SpaceX massively up. I mean, these graphs are like crazy. This is so accurate that when AI runs all this stuff, back then, when I actually started working in the corporate world in the early 2000s, um, I remember I had to work on PowerPoint and put all these elements together. So this is just a graph showing us that how big SpaceX is on IPO comparing to all these other companies, right? So that's crazy, bro. Really crazy. Like Tesla, Apple, Google, Microsoft, and average global economy. That's crazy, and we'll get into that. So when basically you're saying average global economy, let me give you some stats, bro. This is crazy. So Elon Musk versus the sovereign nations, right? What does that mean? Sweden's entire GDP, gross domestic product, if I remember clearly, sits right around $760 billion. Elon Musk is currently over 300 billion richer than every single business, factory, and worker in Sweden combined for a full year. That's crazy, bro. Let me just check if I was right on GDP, because that's how I remember gross domestic product. Let me see if I'm right. Gross domestic product. I'm still, bro. I'm still wired. Okay. Ireland, so we all know why Ireland is. So Ireland entire economy is roughly $779 billion. He blows past them easily, right? That's crazy. Saudi Arabia, which is they're playing in the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup. Saudi Arabia's annual economic output is roughly $1 trillion. Elon Musk's personal net worth now equals the entire value of the world's leading oil kingdom. So that is crazy, bro. So if you want to know the average global economy, bro, he's just like he is the richest human in the whole entire human race because he's a trillionaire. So, like we said, richer than nations. Elon's 1.1 trillion versus Sweden. We just spoke about that. That's crazy, bro. This is Sweden. And it's funny how AI is driven all this. Yes, Saudi is. So Saudi is not too far away. He's not too far away. But he's probably richer now than Saudi as well because, I mean, the stock price is still, what is it right now? 165, 167, and it's just day one, bro. That's great. So inside the machine, so what is SpaceX, right? So basically, it has different factors in. When I say factors, different fundamental, different companies operating into SpaceX, not just like one, right? It's not just rockets, right? So Starlink, what is Starlink? So let's get into it. So Starlink is basically like, if you want to know more, is like it. You can imagine like space network, and what I mean by that is basically um, let me just look at this stats so you can actually give me a second. Okay, so basically, Starlink is a rocket. It's now serving. So I mean, Starlink isn't just a rocket. So it is now serving over 12 million subscribers across 160 countries. Now, what it basically means, because obviously I'm using Gemini to pull some charts. I remember when I flew on Qatar Airways, they had Starlink all over the airplane in terms of Wi-Fi and stuff, right? So they have 12 million subscribers along across 160 countries, driving a total addressable market that SpaceX claims is worth a staggering 28. So forget all that jazz. So 12 million subscribers worldwide, recurring software like margins powering SpaceX. So let me just say Starlink definitions, right? Because all these things that sometimes AI spits out is it doesn't speak the way you want it to speak. So I'm basically put a prompt in right now saying speak to me like a newbie, right? And we want to get that right. This is why I want to make sure that we all understand what's happening. And this is what I'm saying, right? When the first time that I knew about Starlink is when I flew on Qatar Airways, right? So just imagine it right like this right now, right? So what I said is speak to me like a newbie. So they're like think of Starlink like a massive grid of invincible internet towers floating in space. Right now, your home internet probably comes from a physical wire buried underground. If you live out in the country on a boat or in a remote area, big cable companies won't spend the money to run a wire to you. That means your internet is either painfully slowly or non-existing. Bro, I just moved from just coming back to work. So I moved from New York. I used to live in Brooklyn, near Denver. I moved to Florida, South Florida, right, bro? And I have Verizon. I've been having Verizon since I moved from Dubai to the US, right, to New York. So I moved in 2019. I still have Verizon. Bro, there's parts of where I am in this state where I have no signal. Literally, I'm driving and everything just goes off. And apparently, obviously, T-Mobile is more recommended out here. Starlink, from my understanding, is going to make this in the future like, like kill dead zones, kill like issues like this. So going back to Elon Musk, how is he going to solve this problem for regular people, right? So instead of using wires on the ground, Starlink uses thousands of small satellites that fly around the Earth. When you buy Starlink, you get a small satellite dish that sits on your roof. That dish docks directly to the satellites flying overhead, beaming high speed internet straight into your house from space. Now, obviously, this is speaking to us like a newbie, so we just have to take it with a pinch of salt and how companies are going to incorporate this. It's not like you and I are going on and buying a satellite dish or anything of this sort as of for now. It's just that this is just speaking to us like a newbie. So going back to what Elon's doing with Starlink, so one of these companies that are in SpaceX. So why is it better than the old space internet? Satellite internet has actually existed for a long time, but it used to be terrible. Wow. The old way, companies put out two giant expensive satellites really far away in space, about 22,000 miles up. Because it was so far, it took forever for the signal to travel back and forth. That's why videos would constantly buffer and load slowly. Bro, if you remember all those movies you used to watch about space, we're like living it, bro. So the Starlink way, Elon Musk decided to launch thousands of tiny satellites much closer to the ground, only about 340 miles up. Because they are so close, the internet travels at lightning speed, just like cable internet when you use in a big city. Crazy, bro. Crazy. There's three people in the chat. What's up, guys? Only three, but yo, you know what? I'm live, bro. You know, I'm doing this just for passion, bro. Like I love sharing news about the stock market and stuff, so I'm just doing it for a passion. I wish I had this when I was doing it, or I wish I had this knowledge just from the YouTube family when I was in my early 20s, bro. Because I grew up where we had like dial-up, like you would literally connect to the internet, like someone pick up the phone. If my mom picked up the phone in the house, the line would get disconnected. So yeah, if I knew anything about the market back then, bro, I would be like a multimillionaire, today. Okay, anyway, let's go back to Starlink, okay, and SpaceX. So basically, Starlink, why does this matter if you want to invest? As an investor, you don't need to know the rocket science exactly. We just need to look at the money, facts. Subscription model. Now, if you know anything about Wall Street, I've been an investor since 2015. Wall Street, they love companies and brands and stocks that have recurring subscriptions. Netflix, Amazon, just to name some that came to my mind, right? So, subscription model Starlink works exactly like Spotify. People pay a monthly fee, usually around $120 a month, to keep the internet turned on. The cash machine right now, over 10 million people globally pay for Starlink every single month. That means billions of dollars of predictable recurring cash are flooding into SpaceX. When you hear people talk about SpaceX going public on the stock market like today, they aren't just betting on Elon Musk flying to Mars. They're buying a piece of massive global internet business, exactly, that is making billions of dollars right now. So that's what Starlink is, as well as what it is. Now, the orbital AI pivot, deep integration with XAI, which is also running on Grok and X, building space native AI computing infrastructure, the next frontier of orbital intelligence. That's crazy, bro. So let's take a screenshot of this, and I'm going to drop it into Gemini and say, can you also explain to me like a newbie? Right. And this is why I like using when we go live, I like using these tools because it's actually speaking to the people who want to know what SpaceX and like without all the Jenga and of the hyper fundamentals of what the Wall Street terms are, right? So let's break this down. Orbital AI pivot concept completely from scratch. No confusing tech talk. Like I said, no fancy investor terms. Exactly, just straight facts for you guys, bro. Imagine you're trying to explain a massive sci-fi movie concept that is happening in real life. Here's how you explain it to a total newbie. I'm a newbie, bro. So the core idea, moving the brains into space. Right now, whenever you ask an AI a question or use ChatGPT or Gemini on your phone isn't actually doing the hard thing. Your phone sends that question over the internet to massive building sized supercomputers on the ground called data centers. These ground computers use a ton of electricity and get incredibly hot while they compute the answer. That's for a sure. That's for a fact because sometimes when I run it on this Apple laptop of mine, although it's like a M silicon chip, it still kind of gets hot every now and then. But nothing like my Intel computers back then or the Intel. Anyway, the orbital AI pivot means Elon Musk is building those AI supercomputers directly inside the satellites floating in space. Wow. Instead of sending information all the way back to Earth to be processed, the satellites themselves will have massive AI brains built right into them. This is crazy, bro. To build an AI supercomputer in space, you need two things that are incredibly hard to get. Elon Musk happens to own both. The Starlink, the connection, you need a massive web of satellites already up there to talk to each other instantly. Elon has thousands of Starlink satellites orbiting right now. The AI brain, which is XAI, you need the actual advanced AI software. Elon owns a company called XAI, which is the ones who make Grok AI. If you're on X, you'll know what I mean. By combining SpaceX rockets and satellites with XAI's tech, he's creating a network of space native AI intelligence that no other company on earth can match right now. Bro, this guy is fucking, bro. Sorry, pardon my language. Bro, he's mad. He's like an alien, bro. He is an alien too, in the human race. So why spend billions to put AI in space instead of keeping it on the ground? I would love to know that. So now we're both going to know it. Unstoppable speed and global reach. If a self-driving car, a military drone, or a ship in the middle of the ocean needs to make a section, bro, I've been talking whole day. Okay, let's get back straight into it. So, if a self-driving car, a military drone, or a ship in the middle of the ocean needs to make a split-second decision using AI, it doesn't have to wait for a signal to bounce to a computer data center in Virginia or California. It talks directly to the AI satellite right above it. Mad, bro. Infinite natural cooling. Ground data centers spend millions of dollars on massive air conditioned systems to keep their AI chips from melting. Space is naturally freezing cold. Okay. Using the freezing temperature of orbit to keep supercomputers cool is a massive hack that saves billions in energy. Wow, bro. Ultimate security. You can't hack physically, so you can't hack physically, attack, or cut the power grid of a supercomputer data center if it's floating there in space, wow, above the planet, about 340 miles. It is the ultimate unpluggable secure AI network for governments and massive businesses. Bro, chat, are you listening to this, bro? Are you listening to this? This is crazy, bro. A company that's gone public today that you can buy is doing all this. And if you're like in your early 20s and watching this, bro, like I'm accumulating in the public portfolio on Robinhood. So I applied for one share and I got it, bro. I was like 2000 and wait, bro. Let me show you this, bro. Let me show you this. Let me show you this, bro. You guys can see it. So it says you are the bro. What happened here? You are the 2,670th allocated investor of Robinhood. Bro, that's massive, bro. So I got one. I just wanted one, but I'm going to accumulate it. Like I was telling my dad earlier today, this stock, I'm going to hold it for the next 5 to 10 years and keep on DCA, dollar cost average. Bro, it's going to make me rich. I know that. I mean, look at all this, bro. But don't go out today and buy, bro. Relax, right? Now, let's take a screenshot of this Starship Economies and understand what this is. Okay, do the same here from an explanation point of view. Hit it, POV, bro. Okay. And if you guys want to know, I'm in the Google ecosystem. So I use YouTube, so I'm using Gemini. Obviously have Gmail. So let's get back into Starship Economies. So, which is the ultimate cheat code behind why SpaceX is valued so high. To explain this to a total newbie, me, you have to use an analogy about commercial airplanes. Okay, here is how you break it down simply for me and my YouTube fam. Bro, YouTube fam, hitting it hard today. The core idea, reusable rockets. Imagine if every single time an airline flew a passenger plane from New York to London, they threw the entire airplane, okay, I know where this is coming, I heard it on CNBC, into the ocean. This is about reusability, I think. They threw the entire airplane into the ocean at the end of the trip and built a brand new plane for the flight back. A plane ticket would cost $100 million. Wow. just because of what they were doing, and only a few ultra rich people or governments could ever afford to fly. Before Elon Musk, that is exactly how every space agency in history ran their business. They built a 100 million rocket, launched a satellite, and let the rocket burn up or crash into the sea. Starship economies, which is this one we're talking about, guys. Um, Starship economies means SpaceX has completely built a giant rocket that flies into space, lands itself backward on the ground, gets refueled, and flies again an hour later, just like an airplane, bro. That's crazy, guys. Just like an airplane. Okay, so why payload cost slashed by 90% matters? Because Elon doesn't throw the rocket away. The cost to send things into space crashes through the floor. The old cost, it used to cost around $10,000 just to send 1 pound of weight into space. The costs, Starship drops the price down to less than $100 a pound. Okay, cool. The ultimate corporate moat. As an investor looking at this stock, SPCX ticker symbol, this is the most important takeaway. No one else can compete with this price point. Even if another company copies Elon's software or builds a cool satellite, they still have to pay massive amounts of money to launch it. Because SpaceX owns the cheapest transportation system in the universe, they can launch their own projects like Starlink and Orbital AI practically for free while charging their customers top dollars. This is crazy, dude, to use their rockets. So they've got Starlink, they've got Orbital AI Pivot, Starship Economies, and now the ecosystem monopoly. So basically, obviously AI, Grok, and bro, this is crazy. Explain madness, bro. The price right now is 167.54. Okay, so this, the last one we're talking about, the ecosystem monopoly. This card ties everything together. It explains the ecosystem monopoly, which is the absolute ultimate reason why SpaceX is dominating the conversation today. To explain this to absolute newbie, you use a toll booth or a railroad analogy. Here is how to drop it down to earth. The core idea, owning the entire highway. Imagine you want to start a brand new shipping business delivering packages across the country. You can buy the best delivery trucks in the world, but if one single company owns every highway, every bridge, and every toll booth in America, you can't deliver a single box without paying them first. Facts, bro. SpaceX is that highway company, but for the entire space economy. They don't just build a cool rocket or sell internet, they own the actual infrastructure that allows outer space to be a business. If a government, a universe, or a competitor like Amazon wants to send a piece of tech into orbit, they almost always have to pay SpaceX to get there, bro. Breaking down the ecosystem. An ecosystem just means that all of Elon's different tech projects work together like a giant unbreakable puzzle. Each piece makes the other pieces stronger. The truck Starship, they own the cheapest, largest reusable rocket to transport things. The highway Starlink, they own the massive satellite network that covers the entire planet in high speed connectivity. The brain, Orbital AI, they use that network to host the ultimate secure space native supercomputers. Because they own every layer of the cake, it is almost impossible for a new startup to come in and disrupt them. A competitor would have to spend hundreds of billions of dollars just to copy one of those layers. But this is madness, bro. So the takeaway, right? As an investor looking at the stock, this card tells you that SpaceX isn't a speculative gamble or maybe going to Mars one day. It is a utility company that built a toll booth at the entrance to the atmosphere. As more companies try to get into space, native AI, space tourism, whoa, imagine, bro, taking a holiday to space. That's crazy. Or global logistics. Imagine your honeymoon, bro. If you get married, your honeymoon's in space. Or global logistics over the next 10 to 20 years. SpaceX just sits back, collects the toll fees, and feeds that cash right back into making the monopoly even stronger. Bro, chat, if you take away nothing else from today's stream and what like the data I've kind of put this presentation and using AI, look at this final card, bro. The ecosystem monopoly, bro. SpaceX as an ecosystem monopoly, bro. They aren't just an aerospace company competing with other rocket builders. Facts. They own the roads, the bridges, the toll booths of the new space economy. When you buy SPCX, you're buying a piece of the permanent infrastructure of the future. It doesn't get more unshakable than that, bro. We're in the future already. The bear risk. So obviously, because the way it's trading right now I'm gonna basically put my investor hat disclaimer. I'm not a financial certified advisor. I cannot advise you what to buy or to sell. I've been in the market since 2015. What I'm doing right now, I'm going to accumulate this stock in a couple of months and more. If I see it dipping earlier than that, I will definitely DCA in, but do your own DD, which means due diligence, right? Right now, when a company goes public, any company, if you look at it, 95, 96, 98% of the time, it has a big run up and then has a cooling period. I like to buy stuff when the cooling period is it dips. So when it rises up again, I'm catching the greens, the green light, the rocket ship, right? So trading at 94x annual sales multiple, that's an extreme premium even for a generational company, right? So we don't have to rush this one, just accumulate. But this is a great company, I feel, in my opinion, to keep on capturing when it dips, right? If it doesn't dip, I will send out alerts on YouTube, or if you follow me on IG, you'll see that I'm buying at these prices, or any other people that you know within your circle, family members or whatever, they might be buying it. So chat to your people when it comes to investing as well. Know your circle, because it's great to have every sort of conversations or communication with your people around you, whether it's investing, health, whatever it may be, right? Centralized control. Elon Musk holds 85% voting power. One person controls the entire strategic direction. His decisions or distractions move your investment. Exactly. But that's if you ever owned a Tesla or whatever, you know what this actually means. But yeah, you have to do your DD. Massive net loss. 4.9 billion net loss last year. That's obviously because the company is, burning, R&D, research and development. So we can understand. So obviously profits aren't going to be there. Regulatory exposure, FAA launch approval. So yeah, obviously, like, all this, the governments, but he's Elon, bro. He knows how to get with whoever he needs to get it. He'll get it done, bro. A beginner, so a newbie's game plan, right? So exactly what I'm saying. No day one FOMO. Just relax, bro. You don't have to chase it. Just it'll come. When you see something dipping or something in the future on your, just put it on like your watch list. That's what I would do right now. Watch list. And there's other plays that I've got into. So I've got into UFO, your ticker symbol UFO, Mars. And if you look at my past streams, you'll see what I'm saying if you want to get into space. NASA, ticker symbol NASA, right? Exactly like what I just said, fractional share DCA strategy. If you're a new person coming to the market, start small, 10, $20, automate weekly buys. Just because it's still affordable stock, in my opinion, because it's not like 200 to 300 or 400, right? You can accumulate small, but wait for the dips. Don't buy anything now. If you want to wet your toes now or something, I can't tell you what to buy all this stuff. Do your own DD, right? But DCA is the strategy. And then satellite position mindset. Treat SPCX as a high upside growth satellite. Balance your portfolio with stable ETFs like VOO and SPO. That's what I tell you, or QQQ, to manage risk, right? Stay disciplined, stay hype, set a clear entry plan, define your risk tolerance, and exactly, bro. Know what you want. You want to be a long term investor. We're not gambling here. We're not like buying something and getting rich tomorrow. There's nothing. Don't FOMO in. There's no hype, bro. If you're using Chat GPT, Gemini, whatever you're using, Claude, just like take an amount that you're okay to spend weekly and say, okay, run this if I did it for the next 3 years minimum, right? So if I put money in VO or SPMO or SCHD, what else is there? QQQ. Um, what else am I in? VTI, VUG, right? And see what it shows you. See what comes up. So look at things in this manner. and take it from there. So I want to leave you with that. I'm about to jump off the chat live stream and go and watch Canada play their first game, the FIFA World Cup. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that little presentation that I did for you guys. It was obviously catering and targeting people who like beginners, newbies. If they want to understand what SpaceX is, this is SpaceX. On that note, enjoy your weekend. Peace, blessings, one love. I'm out. You know what? Before I go, I forgot, bro. If you're still here, bonus. I want to show you guys the public portfolio where we are at. Give me a second. I just remember, bro. That's why I love live streams, bro. They're so authentic. Give me a second. Just logging in. Okay. There we go. So, like I said, bro, public portfolio is at 11K. We are up today $33. Let's look at SpaceX first, since we are talking about SpaceX. So we got one share of it in the public portfolio. It's currently trading at 169.94, bro. So we've obviously, because average cost and returns for recent IPO typically appear within next business day. But if you look here, we got that one share at $135. So we were lucky, bro. We were lucky because, like I said, we were the 2,900 and something. I don't know where it was, but it was somewhere. But yeah, 170 right now. Wow, bro. So yeah, so wanted to end the stream by showing you guys that's where we are on the public portfolio with you guys. 11K and some change, not too bad. Not too bad. Obviously, it could be better. But I'm gonna get into what's really down in the portfolio. Maybe tomorrow, although it's the weekend, I might do a video tomorrow just letting you know because of what we're gearing up. Although I'm at losses in some of them massively, I'm not selling out or anything. I'm just going to accumulate more ETFs now for the public portfolio and probably a little smaller plays on like semiconductors and stuff like. But yeah, guys, I want to just uh, get to watching the game, Canada. So yeah, peace, one love. Enjoy your weekend, bro. Enjoy your weekend, and I hope this was fun. It was fun for me learning. I also learned something, bro. I learned something, bro. So take care. Peace.